everybody, this is Kevin, and welcome back to another anime review. And today I'm going to share my thoughts on the 13th and final Bleach Blu-ray set for now, anyway, until a few weeks when the new anime starts. But this contains episodes 338 to 366, although in this video we're going to talk about 342 to 366, because that includes the thank you episode and then the final full-bring arc for the anime until the new arc starts. But anyway, this arc was critically panned by a lot of people when it first came out, mainly by Bleach fans too, which I don't quite understand. Maybe that's just because I binged the whole series in a 2-month period not too long ago, but I don't get it, because to me, this arc was excellent, and honestly, I think it's better than the Soul Society arc. You always hear the meme, Bleach fell off after the Soul Society arc, which, that's just bullshit. This arc is great. It has a smaller cast of characters, mainly focusing on Ichigo, Uryu, Chad, Urahime, Urahara, and then the new characters they introduce, as well as some of the captains and lieutenants in the last 5 episodes. And it focuses on the 15-month time skip after Ichigo defeated Aizen and lost his Soul Reaper powers, and how he's going to get his Soul Reaper powers back and protect his friends. And, it's short. I think it's only 24 episodes or so. And people call it the filler canon arc, which I just don't get. I like the whole mystery element to it. There's mind games being played with the villains here, and I thought it was excellent. And that opening, man, I just showed you a clip, my favorite part of the opening, with Ichigo walking as the title cards pass him by. The opening theme for this it's opening number 15. It's so good, man. Look up the whole thing, because obviously I can't show the whole thing because of copyright reasons, but it's great. But anyway, as for the box art, we have a great spoiler right away with Ichigo and his new Soul Reaper powers, because he knew he was going to get him back, infused with his full-bring powers. Ichigo looking like a badass on the back. And then some of the newer characters here. Well, up top we have Ichigo and Rukia. We have Ginjo right there, one of the new characters. Renji and Toshiro. Urahime and Riruka, which Riruka, what a cutie she is. The tsundere. And then Tsukishima. And great voice talent they got for some of the new characters. As far as Ginjo goes, he's voiced by Travis Willingham. Riruka's voiced by Christina V. And then Tsukishima is voiced by Matthew Mercer, among a few other characters. And Todd Havercorn voices a character too. Todd Havercorn, of course, Natsu from Fairy Tail. And then let's see what we have inside. We have some flyers again for Bleach, Demon Slayer, and Hunter x Hunter. And then I love this one this is from episode 342, my favorite episode of the whole series. Ichigo saying goodbye to Rukia. Oh. And then this is a quote from there. I wonder if I can keep up with the speed of a world you're not in. Ichigo talking about, Rukia disappearing from his sight. So like I said, it starts, 15 months later. And I love seeing the characters with their different time skip looks. It's more noticeable with Karin and Yuzu, Ichigo's younger sisters. They have longer hair. And then also at Urahara's shop, you see Jinta and Ururu, and they look older as well. Urahime, she has longer hair too, and she's definitely bustier. Everyone's making comments about that. And there's a funny scene too, right when we were introduced to her, where she's in the second floor of the school looking out the window, and she's waiting. He's like, Ichigo, Tatsuki, good morning. And then she grabs the pole and just slides down, ta-da! And then Tatsuki punches her and says, Urahime, you could have got hurt. What are you doing? And then she starts waving her head around, and her eyes turn into 3s. And there's a funny quote. I don't know if this is just a dub moment, but Ichigo goes, what happened to your eyes, Urahime? They turn into 3s. It was so fucking hilarious. But Urahime's as cute as ever, and she's her meme is that she's the bread girl, because early on she's eating a whole loaf of bread and she likes her food, and now she's working at a bakery, right? And she's always bringing the leftover bread. And she says it's the bread that the bakery doesn't sell, so she has to throw it out, so she just takes it home. And there's a line later on where Chad says, Urahime, you just bring me all this bread. I wonder if that bakery's going to stay in business, which, again, I wonder if that's just a dub line. And if it is, that just proves that dubs are superior, because it's Chad wondering if the bakery's going out of business. Fucking hilarious. But, Ichigo's kind of he's trying to remain positive, but he's moping around because, he lost his powers. He can no longer protect his friends, and constantly he sees Uryu running. and what he assumes is Oryu's going to face more hollows, and Oryu's making all these excuses. And then there's funny moments too of Keigo, like, oh, Ichigo, Keigo acting like a man, and also the bully from early on who Ichigo protected Chad against. This is like back in the Soul Society arc when Ichigo protected Chad and they became best friends, and he shows up again, and Ichigo and Oryu start beating the crap out of these people. And it also shows Ichigo has a part-time job where he keeps calling in like, oh, I gotta call for work again. And she's like, this is the third time this week. Why don't you just quit? And Ichigo's like, oh, I can't do it. And then he eventually runs into this guy named Ginjo, who gives him a card with a phone number on it saying, we can help you, Ichigo. This is the card right here to join Execution. And Ichigo just continuing to figure out what he wants to do. He has his substitute Soul Reaper pass, which he used to use to turn into a Soul Reaper, but it no longer works, of course. And he actually ends up throwing it into a river, which later on he goes back for it, because that's the key to unlocking his Fullbring powers. And eventually, what happens is Uryu is attacked by someone who they don't know who it is at this point, and he's in the hospital. And that's when Ichigo has the resolve. He has to get his abilities back to protect his friends yet again. And he worries if Uryu is attacked, perhaps it's him next, Orihime's next, his own family's next, Chad's next, whatever. So that's why he ends up contacting Execution. And he meets the various cast of characters, which are all like so cool. You have Ginjo, you have this woman named Jackie, who's kind of like a tomboy, Ryuka, Giriko, and Yukio. And Yukio is literally playing a PSP. I shit you not. It looks like a PSP. It is a PSP. And they all have their cool powers. Like his Fullbring is called Invaders Must Die. Ryuka's is called I Permit You. And basically she shrinks people, and it's called the dollhouse. She puts Ichigo in his dollhouse to begin his training. And there's a funny line when she first comes into the room and sees Ichigo. It's all dark. She's like, we need to turn the lights on. And then she sees Ichigo and her face gets all red. He's so cute. It's such an awesome line, man. And Ichigo begins his training after he claims his substitute Soul Reaper pass again, and manifests the Fullbring, which is basically like the hilt of Zangetsu. It makes a shape which they kind of censored in the anime, but if you look up in the manga, it makes a shape that isn't really politically correct these days. Although it has more connotations to Indian and Hindu culture, if I'm not mistaken. So I find that interesting. Look up the manga and look up the anime and just compare it. They gotta do what they gotta do, but that he manifests that, and it's able to eventually create like a Fullbring blade, almost like a Getsuga Tensho blade made of spiritual pressure. So he eventually trains, and then elsewhere it shows Orihime making her way back home with this other dude named Shishigawara, who is a disciple of this other guy named Tsukishima. And he's going to attack Orihime, but he can't because oh, she's so cute. She's a hottie. I can't do anything. So Tsukishima shows up, and he uses his Fullbring, Book of the End, where he stabs Orihime, although he doesn't, and it's a way for him to rewrite their memories. And that's where the mind game comes in, because this guy Tsukishima is going around playing mind games with everybody. And then it turns out that Ginjo has been working with Tsukishima, and they're trying to get Ichigo to use all his Fullbring powers, unlock his Fullbring, so they can steal it for themselves, because Ginjo was actually a substitute Soul Reaper at some point, but lost his powers, and therefore wants Ichigo's Fullbring and Soul Reaper powers. So it's just a crazy reveal with all the, mind games they're playing with each other. And also, there's a lot of great humor, too. There's a humorous scene because Ryukin, Uryu's father, runs the hospital and is nursing his son back to health. And there's a funny afterword where he's interacting with Ishin, and he's like, I thought you ran a clinic. Why aren't you taking care of my son? It's like, you only took care of Chad that one time. What about my son? The two fathers arguing each other. But eventually, Uryu gets back up in good health and joins the battle and reveals to Ichigo that it's Ginjo who betrayed him. And he starts cackling away, stealing Ichigo's powers. And then a great moment with great voice acting from Johnny Young Bosch, crying and just screaming how he lost his powers and could no longer protect anybody, when all of a sudden he gets stabbed, And he looks behind him and he sees Urahara and Ishin. And he thinks, oh, these guys betrayed me too? Tsukishima controls them too? And Ishin goes, look behind you, you idiot. It's not us. And all of a sudden, as he's stabbed by the spiritual blade, he sees Rukia smiling. And Rukia was the one who gave Ichigo his powers back. And we learn that this blade has the spiritual pressure of everybody. Of Urahara, Rukia, Ishin, Old Man Yama, Shinji, Hiyori, everyone. Everyone gave their powers to get Ichigo his Soul Reaper powers back. And just freaking awesome. And then Ginjo's like, oh, you think you can take us down? And then all of a sudden, the door opens, and you hear Renji, shut up, dumbass! Who says she's acting alone? And you see Renji, Toshiro, Kenpachi, Ikaku, and Byakuya. And then they all start battling because there's like 5 Fullbrings, and you have Renji versus Jackie, you have Rukia versus Riruka, you have Yukio versus Toshiro, you have Kenpachi versus Girika, which he kills Girika in like 1 hit. And he's like, alright, I'm going home. And then all of a sudden, out of his back, Yachiro pops out like, no, Kenny, we came together, we leave together. And she starts like smacking her around. It was great seeing Yachiro again. And then Byakuya faces Tsukishima. And he has an awesome quote. He's like, you're the enemy of Ichigo Kurosaki. Therefore, you must die. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. Byakuya getting like the best fight of the whole series. And then, of course, Ichigo fights Ginjo. And they both released their Bankai, and it was a great arc, man. I loved it. I thought it was excellent. I loved the whole mystery thing going on and the mind games. And yeah, so let's go to the screenshots now, and I will show you what's going on. So yeah, we'll start here again with this episode was great. I cried during this episode. I thought this episode was fantastic. And then this is the whole thing. There's a few expansion which goes with the story, and then one filler. This filler episode was great though. They were having a kite flying contest. I'll show you that first because that episode was just fucking hilarious. They're flying kites. You have Shuhei, and he's like, "Yes, we will bond together and fly our kites." There's explosions, and then Rukia is like performing. She looks great, man, Rukia. So, this is the first episode here where Ichigo, again, he's all depressed because he doesn't have his powers. You see the new time skip looks. Here's Yuzu with her pigtails, how cute she is. And she's like, oh, brother, don't you think I look good in my new school outfit? He doesn't give a shit. And now Karin can see the spirits because, you know, she's filling the void of Ichigo. And then Ishin, he's getting all dressed up. And they're like, enough of you, Dad. So, is this loading? What the hell? There's Ichigo going to school, meeting his friends. Keigo, good morning, Ichigo! Pondering what the deal is of his Soul Reaper badge. He's seeing Uryu running off to face Hollows. Having his juice with Keigo. And yet Keigo's talking about what happened with Aizen. And this dude steals Ginjo's bag. And this is how Ichigo can reunite with Ginjo, or meet him for the first time. And there's Ishin. He wakes Ichigo up and he's thrown him out the window. Hilarious. There's you know, I didn't like Tatsuki has long hair now. It looks really weird because Tatsuki was just kind of like a tomboy, and it's long in the back but nowhere else. I didn't really like her new hairdo, but it's fine, I guess. And then there's Orihime going down like ta-da. She goes down and she goes ta-da. It was great, man. And these are the bullies showing up, and they're defeated. And this is Execution. We'll get a good shot of Riruka later, but what a cutie she was, man. What a cutie. So this is Ichigo and Uryu fighting the thugs. And Ichigo's still strong physically, just because of all the shit he's done. It was cool, him bonding with his bro, Uryu, again. That's the guy from way back when who was bullying Chad. And this is Ichigo's, what's her name? Ikumi Anigawa. Yeah, that's the part-time job he has. And she kidnaps him and says, you're going to work, kid, no matter what. Oh, man. And where else? What else do we have? I saw, there's Ginjo. There's Orihime. And Tsukishima, who's stalking Uryu. And Ginjo. Yeah, and Ginjo, this is where the mind games start. He gives a picture to Ichigo of Ishin, you know, sort of taunting him there. And here's Jinta all grown up. And there's Tessai hitting him on the head. Trying to whip that kid into shape. And there's Uraru, older as well. And Ichigo agreeing. Lots of screenshots here. This is great because some of the other ones didn't have a lot of screenshots. There's Urahara giving the goods to Karin, bidding farewell. And that's the card for execution. And there's some shipping moments with Orihime and Ichigo, of course. And this is when Tsukishima ambushes Uryu. That's the card. And, oh, there's Mayuri. Why is Mayuri popping up? So, yeah, Uryu's attacked and taken to the hospital. And this is really the first time we meet Ryuka and Giraku. And like I said, she is so cute, man. Again, voiced by Christina V, who voices Velvet Crow in Tales of Berseria, which is a game I just started. So it's cool to hear familiar voices. And this is Orihime thinking about, you know, because she was in Ichigo's room. Like, oh, yeah, because she's in love with Ichigo. But I think at this point, Ichigo's kind of oblivious. There's Uryu resting in the hospital. And Ichigo talking to Ginjo. And also seeing Tsukishima in the background. Stalking him, again, with the mind games. So, Ichigo making his decision. Orihime. And this is her leaving bread for Chad. And then coming in contact with Ginjo again. And learning about the Fullbring powers. And he turns his necklace into this giant-ass sword. And then Chad shows up, and this is Ryuka sort of falling in love with Ichigo. So this is Ginjo, Jackie, and Giraku. There's Yukio. He's playing a PSP, guys. Look at him. And Ryuka. So the connection that all the execution members all have as well is that their parents were killed by hollows, similar to how Ichigo's mother was killed by Grand Fisher. Yeah, and the animation of this arc really stepped it up, too. The characters all look excellent. Really well done. I mean, some people say the animation's not good in Bleach. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, a hollow attacks Yuzu. And Ichigo's pretty defenseless. And so he seeks out Ginjo's help. And there he has his own badge right there. There's the two sisters again. Ryuka. Here's I permit you, and then she uses her Fullbring power where she like summons a heart. Will it replay again? And she puts him inside the dollhouse. I'm sorry, this is kind of small, but that's the best I got here. It puts him in the dollhouse, and he's fighting like these stuffed animals and shit. Mr. Piggy, or Mr. Pork, sorry. Which is actually a human that she turned into that. So that they're kind of picking on Ryuka. She's in love with Ichigo, and she spits out her teeth. So Chad opens the top of the dollhouse and basically tells Ichigo he has to use his Fullbring powers to figure it out. Right? Which he does, and his badge activates. So this is Fullbring. I talked about this earlier. There's a different shape this makes in the manga. You can understand why they changed it a little, but it has more to do with like Hindu culture. That's I think how Kubo got the idea. So Ichigo prevails, and this is basically the hilt of Zangetsu. To turn Ichigo back to normal, she has to sneeze on him, and that's what all this is. And he gets all pissed off. It's so good, man. So here's Shishigawara, who's trying to attack Orihime. And then Tsukishima shows up. And he can't attack her because she's so cute. She's blushing. And then Tsukishima is going to do it. And she's threatening Mr. Pork again. Oh, man. So, Chad feels Orihime's spiritual pressure and says, Ichigo, we gotta go back and help Orihime. And they make their way back. And this is Orihime getting stabbed by the Book of the End, Tsukishima's Fullbring. Although she isn't really stabbed because she touches herself and is like, was I stabbed or wasn't I? And he alters her memories. And she begins to forget exactly like who Ichigo is to her and replaces that with Tsukishima. So, Ichigo does some more training. And we see Isshin and Urahara plotting, really plotting to get Ichigo's powers back. But Ichigo doesn't think so. Look at Orihime. Look at her. Look how tight that shirt is. Oh, damn. So, yeah, you learn the backstory about how Jackie got her power. Dirty Boots is the name of her power. And, you know, her family was killed. So, everyone in Bleach, for the most part, has a pretty tragic backstory. So, Ichigo gets his second form of Fullbring. Looks like a badass. And then we get some more flashbacks of what happened with Tsukishima and Orihime. And then Tsukishima arrives here, and Ichigo's ready to fight. But they're like, you're not strong enough to defeat Tsukishima quite yet. And Chad butts in, and they blow up part of the building. And Ryuka's like, who's gonna pay for this? She was a great comic relief in this arc. Great fights, too. But he's losing his Fullbring, so Ginjo steps in. I don't want to go too far, because otherwise it'll, like, show the Mayuri picture again, I think. So, yeah, Yukio uses Invaders Must Die and traps him in the PSP so that they can train some more. So, yeah, the attack actually did damage Tsukishima quite a bit. You see, he's all bruised and, you know, steaming a little. And they're in here training. And they got him surrounded. So this is where Uryu tells Orihime to heal him completely so that he can join the battle. And she tells him that she was stabbed, but she doesn't really remember. She remembers part of what Tsukishima did. So, everyone's getting nursed back to health. And Ichigo is training with Ginjo. And it's almost like a fighting game. They have their health bar up here. And then Ryuka doesn't approve of Orihime. She's like, no, Ichigo's mine. But they go in. And Orihime's there to, you know, so Ichigo can train. She can continue to heal him. And then there we see Rukia. You don't know at this point, but I know it. So I'll tell you. So yeah, Rukia. And then Orihime to the rescue so that she can heal Ichigo. And then Chad's doing his training. And he's stabbed by Tsukishima too. So Tsukishima's, you know, plotting to turn everyone against Ichigo. And he's getting some hits on with Ginjo. As Orihime is watching. And then Ryuka wants to go in and eat her donuts. And she's eating her donuts in front of Orihime. And Orihime's like, won't you share? Making all these faces. And it's a sweet moment between the two of them. Look at the face Orihime's making. And she leaves. So. Yeah, then Ichigo has more of a transformation. Let's see, where is it? Doing more training. And this is Orihime and Ryuka bonding some more. And this is where Tsukishima is meddling with Orihime's memories and making you think that instead of her brother Sora, it's him taking care of her. A few more. So yeah, now all of execution has turned against Ginjo and Ichigo, and this is Ichigo's next hollow form, right? And they're all against Ichigo and Ginjo, so they gotta work together now, these two. And again, it shows these guys, and then Ichigo goes home, right? And he finds that everyone's here, like, we've been waiting for you, Ichigo. Where's Tsukishima? And there's a great meme of like, don't hurt Tsukishima, Ichigo, he's family. And he's turned the whole family against Ichigo. Everyone's being turned against Ichigo now, attacking him. And this is the moment where Odysee and Chad protect Tsukishima from Ichigo. And he's like, what's going on? This is them going back like, oh, see, don't you remember he was with us in Waco Mundo? When he really wasn't. So more battles going on. And yeah, then Ginjo is cut by Tsukishima. And then Uryu shows up. And then Ichigo thinks that Uryu is a traitor too. But turns out he's right by Ichigo's side all along. And Ginjo takes all of Ichigo's remaining powers. So it cuts back here to how Uryu remembers it. It wasn't Tsukishima who attacked Uryu. It was really Ginjo. And it was all an elaborate plot to get Ichigo's powers and take them for their own. And now they're taking Ichigo's powers. They have him trapped. And everyone is against Ichigo. So they take all his Fullbring power. And this was an excellent moment with Ichigo in the rain crying. Johnny Young Bosch did an excellent job as a voice actor for that moment. But he tries getting up again. And he gets stabbed in the back. And it's Rukia. Rukia gives him his powers back. It was so cool. And then there's a hilarious moment where Rukia is like, I leave you for a few months, and here you are crying like a baby. And she makes this face. And I'm like, quit crying like a little whip, Ichigo. You fool. And this is the moment where Renji says, shut up, dumbass. Who says she's acting alone? And all the other captains and lieutenants show up. And yeah, Rukia has a lieutenant badge. Can I see if I can show you that? She's the lieutenant now, Squad 13. So all the captains are back. I love this shot too of them all. And like Kenpachi's not even looking. But I love the captains they chose to return here. Mainly foes of Ichigo. And then fan favorite Toshiro. But, you know, these were all Ichigo's former enemies at the very start of the series. So they start battling. Here's a moment with Odysee crying to help Ichigo. And then Tsukishima appearing again. And then Ishida and Urahara rescuing the two of them. So that they can get their true memories back. And this is all of them in their Fullbring outfits. Ready to engage in battle. Ichigo is back and better than ever. And it's a great thing. So yeah, Kenpachi fights Girako and kills him with one hit. Because of course he does. And Ginjo faces off against Ichigo. And this is when Kenpachi's like, we're leaving. And Yachiro pops out and says, nuh-uh, Kenny, we came together, we're leaving together. And starts smacking him around. And Toshiro fights Yukio inside the PSP. And Ryuka is overwhelming Rukia with cuteness. And then Byakuya has such an epic line where he says, you are the foe of Ichigo Kurosaki. Therefore, you must die. And Shishigawara fights Ikako. He gets like all buff. Oh man, the fights were all awesome. And then Renji versus Jackie. The only one who actually dies, if I'm not mistaken, is Girako. All the other Fullbring characters are spared. And they reform their ways. This was an awesome fight. Here's going kind of long, so we'll skim through the rest of this. But here's Rukia being cute again, and, you know. She gets trapped in the dollhouse and turns into this little rabbit thing. And then, yeah, we learn the backstory about Ririka. And Byakuya defeats Tsukishima. So, again, got the battle against Ginjo, Tsukishima bleeding like a stuck pig, and Toshido defeated Yukio, and then he has his Bankai! And then Ichigo, of course, does that's his Bankai form. He's almost like a hollow. Oh, fuck, there's Mayuri again. But yeah, everyone's watching the final fight here. Awesome final fight. And then Ririka, again, they have their sort of change of heart and reform their ways. So, even Tsukishima, which, stay tuned for the final arc of Tsukishima. Oh, fuck. And yeah, this is learning about how all the other captains are back. Oh, shit, did I skip over one? Oh, no, that was the New Year's special. Yeah, this is the final episode here. So, yeah, it's showing the end, and Ichigo goes back, and he has to bury Ginjo in Katakura Town. And it was nice seeing all the other captains again. So, yeah, God, this might be my longest Bleach video yet. Sorry, guys, 32 minutes, but I gotta talk about it. So, yeah, this is the end. I loved watching Bleach. This is a great experience. I watched it in the span of 2 months. You know, I love the series. You know, I even like the filler arcs. A lot of people don't like the filler arcs, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And I can't wait to talk about the series weekly once the 1,000-Year Blood War starts in the next week or so. So stay tuned for weekly episode reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.